Hello, everybody. It's Friday, and I have some thoughts I want to share with you. I'm standing here on our deck, and behind me, you see this bird feeder that I put out. I just really enjoy feeding the birds and watching the variety of different ones that show up to enjoy the food that I put out there for them. But I have a problem. And the problem is over here with those trees. There's some furry rats that live up in those trees, otherwise known as squirrels, that love to come down the hill and across our yard and up the deck and launch themselves out onto that bird feeder and steal the feed that I put there for our birds. So I've been battling those squirrels. And it reminds me of another battle. You know, the Bible tells us that Satan is like a thief. He comes in to steal. In fact, it goes on to say to not only steal, but to destroy and to kill. He wants to take away any opportunity we have of connecting with God. In my life, that happens at least three ways. Three of the ways the enemy tries to steal my time with God is through distraction, through disruption, and through doubts. Maybe it's different for you. But oftentimes when I try to sit down and be with God, to feed off of His Word and to spend time in prayer, all of a sudden, all these distractions come into my mind. Things I need to do, places I need to go. And then there'll be disruptions, things I haven't even planned for. And then sometimes doubt when I'm really struggling with issues or concerns that I have. And that can just rob my time of just being with God. So I counter that with three different measures. One, I made up in my mind a long time ago that no matter how I feel, I would keep my discipline of spending time with God every day. Secondly, I've made up my mind that I'm going to focus on my desire for God even when I don't feel it there. Now, the way this works for me is when I don't feel like praying, when I don't feel like reading God's Word, but I'm disciplining myself to do it, I focus on praising God. And I found that the more I will focus on praising Him, even though my emotions aren't in attendance at that time, eventually my emotions settle down. And soon I find myself enthralled with who God is. It changes my whole perspective. And lastly, I just determine that I'm not going to let my doubts defeat me. That when I have my doubts, I'm going to bring them to God. I'm going to expose them to God and to the truth. Rather than letting my doubts lead me away from God, let them lead me to God. So how's the enemy trying to rob you from being fed by God? What are your countermeasures to the evil one? I hope that you'll establish a daily discipline of being with God. I hope that you will desire Him above all other things and that you'll determine not to give up. Those are my thoughts to share with you on this Friday.